Two Dudes That Game podcast. I'm Ender. The guy over there named James. And this is gonna be, I don't really know how to put the way this podcast is gonna go, because I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, because
we don't know.
No, it's not that. Like we know what we want to talk about, but I think the overall flow and feel of all of this might, I hate to say it and use the word, trigger people at this point in time, because the world is going crazy right now in the game of gaming, in the world of gaming.
Yeah.
And it's just, I want to put it out there that there is no right or wrong answer to any of this. There's just people's opinions, and we're going to have our opinion and what we think is correct. And James and I opinion sometimes varies pretty broadly on what is right or what is wrong or how the world should be, and we see different ways, but we're able to come together and have a conversation about it without I guess
freaking out
and just hating the other person for having a difference of opinion. And I lay that out here because it's going to be our last segment that we're going to talk about this. And I honestly, the reason why I'm leaving it to last is because I don't know if we'll keep it in. It may be there, it may not be there. So you may know what we're talking about right now. You may not know what we're talking about right now. It just depends on where it goes and how safe we feel at the end of the day of posting our opinions and where things may go. Because right now, anybody that is in the position that we are trying to build a career around their opinions. Let's put it this way. You come here to listen to our opinion. Some people come here to listen to opinion because they don't like it. That's awesome. Some people come to listen to the opinion because they do like it and they want to hear what we have to say.
Yeah, it's also nice to have a small podcast, because if you want to have the debate with us, we're more likely to respond to you versus someone that's got 50,000 views right now.
Yeah.
They may never see your comment.
But the point that I'm trying to make is it's very hard to do this and stay true to yourself and your own beliefs without bending to the will of whatever is the mainstream at the time.
Yeah.
And that mainstream pendulum swings. Let's call it what it is. One day it's going to be one way, the other day it's going to be the other way. We're here to just bring you the facts around our opinion of the game, or our opinion of a show, or our opinion of whatever it may be. And this is the second time that we have to kind of get into something like this, and we'll see where it goes. And again, being a small podcast, don't have to worry as much, but we have day jobs and people go after those things. They attack people in their real world for having an opinion on something that is their own hobby. That is their own thing. Like Twitter is the most toxic place in the world. And I refuse to, as an old man now, even go learn how to use it, because I don't hear anything good about it. Like I have it on my phone, and like things pop up all the time on it. I'm like, I don't even know how that happened. Like, how did I subscribe to this person?
You basically have it just to post our podcast stuff.
I have it 100%. So when you send me a link, I can open the link, because sometimes it has to go to Twitter to open a link. That's the only reason it is on my phone at all.
You sound like such an old guy.
But
all this technology stuff,
dude. I'm telling you,
but
like,
you're
I was
very
there
tech savvy, so it's funny.
But that's the thing. Like, I was there when Napster was around. I was there when LimeWire was out. I was there when MySpace first came out and Facebook first came out. Like, I had a college email account to get to Facebook. We were one of the fourth ones that came on to Facebook through college. Same. I was
one of the originals.
So like I've been there for the beginning of all of it, and you know what? Like, we saw the trend going the wrong way almost instantly.
Yeah.
And I got off the bandwagon of that point and haven't been around, and I still, and it was funny because I was sitting around with my wife, my mother-in-law, and my father, and I was like, what happened to the opinions page in the newspaper? And yes, the newspaper, people. Like, I had a newspaper. I'm like, remember when that used to exist, where you'd have one column on what one person feels, the exact same for the opposite feeling on the same side? They were there on the page for you as the reader to read both and make your own opinion on it. Like, that just doesn't exist anymore. And anyone that goes out there and types something into Google is just going to confirm their own bias. It is just bias confirmation out there like crazy. Because Google is paid for you to click on articles. They're not going to give you articles you don't agree with. It's just bias confirming. People don't go out there to look for articles that they're going to disagree with because they're not going to stay there as long.
Yeah, exactly.
So just because you went and I'm telling you, this is 100% the truth from someone that works in the technology world. I am not one that thinks there's millions of black hats behind there and all the Elon Musk thing of the you know, Twitter was doing some weird stuff. Okay. They had some people that were controlling things. Okay. But the way a basic algorithm works is if my job is for you to click on an article and stay there longer, if I am in the Midwest and I type in the same search as I do in DC, I'm going to get different results. That is filtering based off of the bias of the area that they think you're going to click on it. That is 100% true. What you Google in California is not what you're going to get if you Google the same thing in Texas. I guarantee you that is true. This is not a conspiracy theory.
True.
That is how that works.
Yeah.
If you took a blank computer that had nothing on it and no one there and you typed them in, it's going to be different based off of just the location right there. Google's going to use that in their algorithm to give you what you want. This is a gaming podcast. So what I'm telling you is if you type in best games out there, you're going to get a bunch of best games. The games you click on, dude, go to your Facebook page and see how many ads you have about that already.
Yep.
It knows. It's a machine. It's working. So don't take what the machine spits at you as the truth. Go read the other side of the articles. Go talk to someone that has a differing opinion. Listen to a podcast that if you're a left-leaning person, listen to a right-leaning podcast every once in a while. If you're a right-leaning person, listen to a left-leaning podcast every once in a while on the ideas and come up with your own damn opinion and not the one that just confirms any bias that you have. But if you're here listening to us today, you want our opinion. So we're going to go ahead and give that to you as much as we can. And my soapbox is over because
You're tired of standing on it.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of standing on it. And I'm tired of always turning on the news to hear about the next group of people that's being canceled by a group of people that don't even know them. They just decided we're just going to go attack now.
Whichever side you're on, it's never all this one side. The whole woke thing, all that even makes me laugh because whichever side is your belief, you think your side doesn't have an extreme side, but both sides have all. I don't care if there's 8 sides. They all have an extreme group of people that believe in that thing that's so extreme that makes the people that kind of agree with that look ridiculous.
Look, I'm generally a right-leaning person. I cannot stand our extremists on the right. I cannot. They're ignorant, stupid people. They're just too extreme. They're just absolutely too extreme. I have no problem saying that. When I go and vote, most of the time I'm going to vote right-leaning because that's how I think some of the government things should run. When I vote for environmental and social aspects, I vote 99.9% of the time left-leaning. That can happen, people. It's not just one way. You can change your mind.
But then you've got extremists on the other side that think, that's how you normally are. That mean like they immediately categorize you as being an extremist just because they're on the other side. Like, it's just
insane. But
I think our political views are extremely different, but we seem to get along just fine and respect each other's opinions.
Yeah, I think they are highly different. We've had these debates before, but the beauty of it is, in my mind, and I still always go back to this, we all have one thing in common, and we want to progress our family lives, progress our children's lives, and be happy and enjoy the world that we live in. The thing is we just all differ on how to get there.
Yeah.
But we're all going to the same place. So guys, you got to get on the train and ride. Regardless of if you don't agree with them, it's still going to the same place. Find the compromise and move forward. That's the goal. There's going to be a compromise. There's going to be a middle. It's not my opinion or your opinion. It's the middle. I also hate the whole world where like now politicians don't actually stay in DC. Like a lot of people don't know that. I grew up in DC. I'm very familiar with how all of this stuff works. It used to be you could walk into DC and politicians were everywhere. Like you'd see them. They don't live there. Dude, they are in their states. They fly in for a vote and they fly back out.
Yeah.
The reason that's a problem is because they don't have to actually interact with the people across the floor from them and treat them like humans. You used to be able to go out and in DC and see Republican and Democratic senators, House representatives eating a lunch together.
But
talking.
Now if they get caught eating a lunch together.
Now if they get caught, oh my God, their conspiracy theories are no. It was because, dude, we're off. We're off. We're just gonna treat each other like humans. And when we treated each other like humans, we were able to compromise.
Yeah.
Because I know Sally's kids. I know Jim's kids. I know Mary's fighting cancer and it's really hard for them. I humanize these things and they're humans now. It's not just this, how many things am I going to get a click on and how am I going to make my billions of dollars off of being a civil servant where I'm supposed to only make $125,000 a year. Not sure where that salary is going, but hey, that's a whole nother story. But speaking of stories and things we want to get into, Call of Duty's got some news.
We're talking about video games?
Yeah.
I didn't know this is the two dudes that
do you want to do two dudes that politic? Dude, I could go, but I'm gonna bring it back to games because there's a lot of politics in games.
That's the problem. It's ruining our video. It's ruining our hobby now.
It really is, but we're not going to go through everything that just came out because there's a new blog post. I'm kind of surprised it came out yesterday, February 8th from Call of Duty. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I think I'm wrong. I honestly don't know, so I'm asking the question here. Does this like launching announcement post normally come before the dev notes? I feel like we normally get the dev notes by now. It feels like since it's launching on February 15th, we don't have a dev blog.
It almost sounds like they're testing the waters.
I kind of feel that way too. They're like, here's the content we want to put out. What do you guys think? Because we really don't want to have to backtrack as much as we did before.
Yeah.
So some of the same things, Resurgence mode's coming back with a new map. We knew that. We've seen those things come out. There's a new contract, which I think is hijack. You hijack a stolen vehicle from Shadow Company forces.
Well, can we, as you bring something up, can we talk about them a little bit instead of rushing through it and coming back?
What do you want?
I want to talk about Ashika Island.
Control, James.
Yeah, listen, of course, someone's got to take control. You're going to talk the whole way through.
You're going to let me ramble.
Okay, Ashika Island. I thought this was interesting. I started to talk to you about this, and you said save it for the podcast. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of hate on, the map's too big. It's crazy. So JGOD did this map comparison, and of course you got to take it with a little grain of salt because they've got to do their best estimates, and they did a lot of numbers and they did a lot of research, but he does a lot of stuff with numbers, so I think he's, to the best of his ability, I think he's pretty reputable. So come to find out, Fortune's Keep, which dropped at the end of the Warzone 1 life cycle, people really loved. It was the new map for the rebirth, so they had the island one, and then they had Fortune's Keep. Turns out, Ender, that Ashika is about 40% larger than the Alcatraz map, but it's still smaller than Fortune's Keep. The other thing that I thought was interesting, because in my memory, Blackout, which you didn't play, I always thought to myself, man, I feel like I could run from one end of the map to the other, no problem. It was super easy. I never had any issues. Turns out that's by far the largest map that they've ever made for a battle royale. And then the second largest map is Al Mazrah. The third largest map was Caldera, and the Verdansk turned out to be the smallest of the large maps.
Well, isn't there, I mean, again, I don't know all the math. I didn't look into it because honestly, I don't care. Until you drop into the game and play it, you have no idea whether or not the map feels too big, too small, or any of that. It's just a guessing game at that point. And I hate the guessing game. This is where the politics and everything comes into, where I'm making myself hate something before it even comes out because I'm making assumptions of how it's going to play.
Yeah, and that's how JGOD was trying to get at it. He just wanted to prove to people that it's bigger than the original Rebirth map, but it's not bigger than the one that you guys all raved about how amazing it was. It's smaller than that one, but now you're saying this is going to be too big for a Rebirth game mode. So he was basically just calling a lot of people out on that. I thought it was pretty funny. And the other thing that you pointed out when it comes to Ashika Island, there's a little hidden thing in the wording of something that you found. It might not just be a Rebirth map.
Yeah, so, and I don't know why they would write it this way. So when they're talking about the new feature, which is like Restore Honor, so basically, I guess you're going to drop a tag. You can pick the tag up. I don't really know how it's going to work. There's enough people out there doing reviews on every single new feature. Go watch one of those if you really want to know the exact details of it. But the way it's worded, it says, every operator on Ashika Island will drop a dog tag upon death once per match. And then in quotes, it says Resurgence or Battle Royale. So does that, normally it's saying the Battle Royale Resurgence mode. This one is saying Resurgence or Battle Royale.
Meaning there's a basic Battle Royale version.
Regular Battle Royale on this, like, could they give us a second map? Could there be one in rotation? Could we get one or the other and play smaller? James, were you right about something for once?
Oh, I would love it. I just don't understand why they don't do this. Like, yes, it's less people on Resurgence, but I would love to load in and until we get into the loading screen, we don't know which map we're going to play. And yes, I'm not always going to like one of the map. Maybe I don't really care for the small map, but it won't make me hate the big map if I'm not playing it 25 times in a night.
I don't think
I like the diversity. It changes the way you play because you're dropping into different places. Maybe it's smaller maps, so it's closer gunfights. It's just maybe the game mode, that battle royale, because it's smaller, plays faster, and then we go into the bigger map and we play a little bit slower.
My thing is, though,
I think it would be better.
Number one problem in Call of Duty, the community, and
they're so toxic.
And I'm heated today, so I'm just gonna lay it out there.
Here we go.
The problem with the fucking community right now is they want content. They want content. We want content. We want content. But when you try to change something and give them fucking content, they go insane.
We don't want that.
We didn't want that. Well, what do you want? We don't know what we want, but it's not that.
I mean, that's what's funny.
They don't want the map before they've even played it.
I do want. Here's what's. The number one requested feature is a ranked mode. At this point, if I was Call of Duty, I'd be like, fuck their ranked mode. We're going to put it out there and they're going to hate it.
Exactly. But my whole thing is like, it's just giving you more content. It's giving you something else to play. It's giving you something else to do. It's giving you another map that's out there in rotation to play. And it's like, well, I hate that map. I never want to play it again. It's like, okay, then just back out of the game. Like just back out of the game.
Yeah.
It's not like you don't already do that when things don't go your way anyway on the big map.
Yep.
So like call it what it is. And if Call of Duty's out there and they're like, well, we don't want people just backing out all the time. I'm like, well, you've already broken that. Like, you allow people to back out of the game like it's done. Just kill yourself. Just literally fall, hit the ground, you're back out, go in again. I'm so tired of all of it. You're getting more content. You're able to play more things. It's more diverse. Why not take it? Why not take that chance? You took the chance on a stupid 2v2 gulag.
Yeah.
You're not going to take a chance on having two maps? You changed the thing that you didn't need to change.
So what's coming next? What else is there?
I got a couple of new events. Some of these sound actually kind of cool. Like there's a data heist event that you can do exclusive to Ashika Island. They're really playing the Asian heritage of Ashika Island, so you're gonna get the one operator back. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he was pretty badass. I love that because he's a real dude. Like you go look him up on YouTube. Like that's a badass dude that's out there. There's a new. So here, this is interesting. Everyone's been talking about how we need to revamp the AI or get rid of it, revamp it, however you want to say it. Like it's aimbot right now. It's too powerful. It follows you too far, whatever. There's tuning to be done. The one thing we didn't ask for, again, like the community's not asking for, is a new combatant. Here comes a new guy called the Rusher. And it's like it's new, it's a resurgence thing. So not only are you going to be on a smaller map with a lot more people with them continuing to fly in, you're going to have this AI guy that God knows if he's going to be tuned properly.
I hope that listen. I
hope he's so overpowered he's just wiping the floor and he's the only one that wins.
I hope that it's the military version of Krampus.
Oh, it better be.
Because the resurgence people have been, these AI suck. Once we get our resurgence map, we won't have to deal with it. Once we get our rebirth map, we won't have to deal with this AI
They put
anymore.
AI right on the map. On the map.
They put AI right on the map. They're sticking to their guns with this. And then they're adding this other character.
Extreme close quarters combat.
I can't wait to watch these idiots lose their mind on stream.
I mean, it's gonna be glorious. He's holding a sword and a pistol, so he's gonna just run up behind you and knife you in the back.
I hope it just if he taps you. I hope it's one shot.
No, dude, just completely think about this. They just said they had an audio occlusion. You're never gonna be able to hear this rusher come up on you.
Oh my goodness.
They're gonna fuck it up, and he's gonna have some weird audio occlusion on his gun, so no one can hear any rushers. And they're just gonna be running up behind you, stabbing you in the back.
I hope it's one stab.
There's nothing you can do.
I hope it's one stab and you're dead. And I hope you're able to put about 50 rounds. And I hope
they program it in to teabag you, like right after you're done.
I hope you're able to put 50 rounds of your RPK into this.
Yeah, well, they say it doesn't have a lot of armor, and they just fuck it up, and he's just a juggernaut with a blade. Like that's what it needs to be. There's also another one in here, called a new contract called Search and Seizure, and it kind of sounds like you're a repo man. Like you're going to go reclaim a stolen vehicle, either an SUV or a patrol boat, and you got to take it back. So you get to be a repo man. So overall, I think what we want to say about this is, am I wrong here on feeling like they're just jamming a crap ton of content back down your throat and hoping that no one notices that they didn't fix stuff? Like I felt like this was supposed to be a fix it patch, not here's all my new stuff that we didn't even talk to you about already.
Yeah.
Was I missing something here?
I mean, I thought there would be more to it. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a couple of new maps in multiplayer. Really not new maps. They're bringing maps that were already out that we had seen before, so they're launching those. There's some more big team maps. We're gonna get a ranked mode. Nothing super crazy out of all of this, other than I guess I'm just underwhelmed with the content here. More on the end of, I was hoping we were focusing more on fixing what was currently there to get it to a state that we wanted, rather than here's some new things, here's a new contract, here's a new stuff. Like, I'm not sure what we're gonna get, so I'm interested. This confuses me. But
they're still gonna have patch notes, right? So we don't know any of the weapon tuning or none of that. Like, we don't know any of that.
This was just like new stuff coming. Like, there's gonna be a couple of new.
It was just more info, like the last info drop, right?
Yeah. So it's just, well, this is that info drop where they give you the infographic,
the snapshot
of
everything.
Finalized, the snapshot. This is what's coming. New exclusive zones, new missions in DMZ, new weapons case
in DMZ,
a new
too.
faction coming in. You're gonna have a personal watercraft vehicle now, so you get a little wave runner. I guess they can't call it a wave runner, so you're gonna have that in the game, because we all wanted to be able to ride a jet ski in Call of Duty. That's just
sure. Why not?
What's the point of having water if you can't drive a jet ski?
I can't wait for the upgraded jet ski with a mounted weapon.
We're gonna get a new operator, new skins, which no one's buying right now. I can't imagine people are buying skins right now. That's a total flop. Like, I bought a lot when I was playing before, but they have all sucked.
They're bad. You know what's funny is speaking of skins, if you are a fan of Tim the Tap Man, he just recently had a revelation where he realized how much cooler COD Mobile was, and all the cool skins and gun skins and the fun things and the animations. He was like, what is happening? Like, it's crazy that the mobile game has better implementation of skins and gun skins than the main game.
Feels like the mobile guys have their freedom to do what they want.
It's also run by Tencent, so who knows?
Who cares? Yeah. This is better. It's better. So I don't really want to stick on this topic anymore. Like when we get to developer notes, that's when I'm going to be really
The
like,
patch notes we'll go through.
Yeah, the patch notes, and we'll go through them one by one on what they're really changing and the tuning and things like that. Again, I think this is just a media hype, marketing media hype.
Yeah,
Let's
6
throw this
days
out
until
there.
it launches, so they gotta.
So for 6 days, I'll be playing the game we're not supposed to talk about.
Well, we're playing the Division too.
In the Division, like we'll just go ahead and keep doing that. Moving forward on things that we are allowed to talk about. Optic just cannot decide what they want to do.
Oh my god,
with the rosters,
it's ridiculous. Man. I don't understand.
I kind of understand. I think so.
Like these guys had a couple of days to play together. Give them a moment.
Well, let's just say so. Let's clarify what we're talking about here. Optic drops Illey, picks up a new player. Now that's the whole thing here. It's like the whole point behind that. Like they wanted to get rid of Optic. They want to get rid of Optic. They want to get rid of Illey and Dashy in the beginning of the year. They can't because I personally I just don't think they're able to find anybody to fill the shoes.
Yeah.
So then they finally decide to get rid of Dashy. Scump turns around and retires, ruins that for them. So they have to bring Dashy back, who's playing like a madman beast right now.
Yeah, it's funny because if you look at the Call of Duty League's promo of the Major 3, which is in Texas, Dashy is the headliner.
Yeah.
It's funny because you think just a month ago he was on the outs and they were done with him.
But sometimes that's what people need. It lit a fire under his ass, and that's kind of what he needs. That was what they were hoping for. They shuffled it around, and he had to go sit on the bench for a couple games. Like, he didn't like that. Sometimes you got to bench a player to make him be like, okay, this is worth something to me now. Let me come back. So they do that, and then around that time, Illey was going off too. Like, Illey, Hook, Dashy, we're playing well. We're doing fine. Major 3 comes around and we're playing on LAN and it did not look good.
Yeah, at the Boston, what's that, Major 2 at Boston. Illey, you've got me addicted to watching this crap. So there I am on the weekend spending my time. Even my wife looks at me like, oh, there's no sports today. I was like, well, there's not, but I want to watch this Texas team. She just kind of rolled her eyes, but it's like I'm invested in watching and I'm watching and they do look good. But then all Scump was, I'm obviously watching the Scump watch party, which is a lot of fun to watch. I learn a lot more watching that way. And they just are bragging
was
about.
Crim6 on this one?
I
saw he was on one of the days.
Yeah. I think the second day he was on when they got eliminated. So what's crazy is that all Scump was bragging about was how great they were at S&D. So here we are, we go into this match, boom, they lose S&D. I'm like, are you like, that's supposed to be that's how they win, by win and search and destroy, and they're not able to put that together. And Illey was the weak link badly, especially in the S&D matches.
So it's just a surprise. I mean, because him being your sniper, and he has been sniping really, really well, carrying them through a lot of games earlier in S&D. I think it's a consistency issue with Illey at this point. I mean, I know he was hurt last year. He had the thumb issue. He comes back and has this, but I think I think he had a torn tendon.
Sure, yeah, whatever.
Like, he had a bunch of issues that was going on there.
Right, calm down, Ryan Leaf.
Everyone, dude.
He's the Ryan Leaf of the video game world. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It's the turf toe of video game world.
Man, it's so again. I don't really know how this is going, but anyway, they drop Illey to pick up a challengers player. Like, they bring in this guy named Ghosty.
An unknown. The name. He's doing really good in the Challenger series, but again,
so he was doing well enough in the Challenger series that I knew the Florida Mutineers were actually looking at him. So he was looking to go to the Mutineers roster. But I mean, if you had a choice between going to Optic or Mutineers, I think you're going to go to Optic. Like, I just think as you're looking at it, it's like, do I want to be a New York Yankee or do I want to be somebody
just
else?
The exposure you're going to get in Optic if you're able to put together some good matches is you have a chance to be legend. You can be good. What I've noticed is even some of the best players on these other teams definitely do not get the exposure that you get on an Optic team that's not even winning. Imagine if they start winning.
No, yeah. If they start winning, I mean, it's kind of what drives the league at that point is the branding behind Optic, and Optic is a major brand out there. I mean, it's It's like Complexity. It's like some of the other big ones that you
And the
have.
other, yeah.
But so Ghosty most recently won the Call of Duty Challengers Open at Major 2. So he's a winner. He knows how to win. They placed second in the Elite Stage 1 playoffs and consistently have been placing towards the top of the Challengers competition. So overall, the guy knows how to win. They're shaking it up. You're bringing in somebody new. And the other thing when you bring someone new in up from the Challenger series is nobody knows how they're going to play. Like now you have this unknown that people are going to learn your breaks. They know your style. They understand these guys have played together long enough to get that. Now you have this new player on there that could just go in there and really just F stuff up for other teams' game plans against Optic.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens. You know, it kind of sucks that we don't have scrimmage streaming anymore. They're just like giving up too many secrets and stuff like that during the streams. Teams were recording them, you know, like Patriots recording practices.
I mean, in all
like
fairness, they were just doing their home. They were scouting, right? That was their chance to scout. I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. But you know, it was cool to watch and listen and hear them talk about stuff. But I get why they don't do it anymore. That used to be kind of how these guys would make their supplemental money, was streaming scrims. You know, a lot of people would watch that, but you know, you gotta play for the championship.
Exactly.
You can't give away all your secrets. So we'll find out. I don't think we have anything this weekend. So next weekend, I think we start the qualifier series, and we'll see what it looks like for Major 3 out of Texas. And this is going to be their home series. So if there's one major they want to win. You know, obviously you want to win champs, but you also want to win your home series here in Texas. So we'll see if the boys can pull it off.
Yeah, hopefully.
Moving to our next topic, and this is a sad thing, and this is where overhype meets too much streamer push, in my opinion, meets a decent game that did not think about how they were going to bring in player mechanics and make it simple enough for the average player to play, which is funny because it's a cartoon game around dodgeball. I played this game. James, did you ever play Knockout City?
No, I watched a few people play that.
Well, guess what? You're never going to play Knockout City.
Why?
It's gone. It's done.
What do you mean it's gone?
It's out. Knockout City is closure.
The dodgeball game?
Yep.
I thought this had all kinds of viewers.
No, not since the
People
first week.
People were playing it like crazy.
Not since the first week.
They just did a big content drop with like the Ninja Turtles or some shit.
It's over. Done. Knockout City's closure is part of a painful truth of the gaming industry, studio says. They are no longer supporting the game. They're pulling it off because they don't have enough people playing. Biggest reasons they think, one major thing is they pushed it. There was a ton of hype. Mercs was playing it. All those guys were playing dodgeball. They had a ton of people viewing. Everybody loved it. And then no one stayed.
When the streamers left, the regular people didn't keep playing.
The regular people left. And what happened was the guys that were playing that were really well dominated the game so much that no one getting into the game could have a good time. So
because the player base wasn't big enough to not keep running against the same people.
The player base wasn't big enough, and the player base also wasn't big enough to do skill-based matchmaking, which is the only time skill-based matchmaking has ever made sense for a game because of the skill gap that's actually in this game to learn how to play it, and the timing and all the things that it took and the different ways to play. So if you're just starting out,
I always feel bad in these situations for people that paid for content, skins or whatnot. Like it's gone.
You know that. I mean, like anytime you purchase something, it's, especially with digital content, it can go away. Like, I mean, think about all the movies that you purchase. Like if you decide to buy a movie digitally and Apple decides to pull it off and you don't download it, it's gone. You're never going to get that content back.
Yeah.
So if you do actually buy things and you don't just stream it all, download them because
exactly.
Keep a copy because when they pull it off, you're not going to get it back.
Like I said, I feel sad for the developers. It's hopefully games can learn from this, but I don't even know what lesson it is to be learned. What would they do different? I mean, they can't make people play the game.
No, I mean, and so it's kind of thing. Despite over 12 million players at launch, Knockout City joins countless other games that struggled to find a happy medium. It was the biggest game in the world, but neither were its lobbies. Neither were the lobbies empty. I've played other games where at the end of their days, you find yourself queuing up with the same 6 or 10 people because you literally the last players that played in the community. So there's a game, I guess, on Rush that had that same thing, and that's kind of where it's at. I kind of said this about Halo too. When I went back to play Halo, I played 3 games in a row against the same lobby.
Yeah.
Like that's just the way it is. And honestly, I think it was, there because the skill base, you're all kind of the skill base together that you have to play, and you're in that group. But here you're playing the same people because there's no one else on the server.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of expect no one's going to be the overnight success that Fortnite was. No one's going to have that like staying power that they have. You have to continue to move content, to continue to bring people out.
I mean, you had Splitgate and Fall Guys that launched very similar to the way that Knockout City did, but even when the majority of the streamers left, the big names left to go back to their Call of Duties and Apexes and stuff, those games were able to have enough content and keep a core group of players. So it's kind of like, what did Knockout City not do that those games did?
Yeah, and really, I think of what happened is they kind of mention it here. I believe this is from their CEO Bala, last name Bala. It did come down to metrics. Being able to have the retention of players. We had a strong core community, but a lot of players who really enjoyed the game kind of just came through. They may go away for a while, they may come back, but overall retention rate, it was very low, which is critical to the heartbeat of any kind of live service game. Has to be a certain level of mouth to mouth, but otherwise makes sense. Otherwise, we're not able to create a sustainable business to keep it going. And that's the cold, hard reality that we face today, which makes it a really hard reality and really emotional. So all they're saying is we had players, they were just too casual.
Yeah.
We're always talking about we're going to cater to the casual. They almost catered too far to the casual, and the hardcore gamers left and the casual here. So really just kind of bringing this up because I was very surprised because of how new the game was. But
it's not even a year old, right? Didn't it come out in the summer last year?
A year in May. It was a year.
Would have been a year in May.
No, a year this May. So 2022 May to here. It made it a year.
Well, it's February.
Well, they're not shutting it down until.
They're going to shut it down after the year.
Yeah, so it's not. They're saying we are done. We're letting you know it's done. We're going to shut it down.
What if there's a resurgence in players? Can that happen? Is that ever? What do you think?
I have no idea. Maybe. I highly doubt it though. I don't think you'll see that.
It's also a free to play game, so their season pass model might not have been good.
Closing a free to play game, like, oh, ouch.
I mean, you think you could port that over to mobile or something?
It might be a decent game, or just like shut it down for a little bit and try to fix it. Come back again, be like, hey, we changed the thing, we listened to the community, but really, you're also looking at a struggling economy. Like, it's easier to shut this whole thing down and move your guys onto something else than try to keep this running and dying game. And I kind of almost respect their decision to say, you know what, we went out there, we tried, and it failed, and we're just gonna cut the head off the snake right now.
Yeah,
and we're just gonna be done with it. We're gonna move on to our next thing. Don't know what it is. They're basically saying for more on Knockout Cities, the team enabled to stay live. Somewhere around June 6th, they're going to stay live till. So in the summer, you're going to see it go away.
Gotcha. Sad.
Do we want to get into this topic, this next one? Do we not want to? I think this is the time to decide on whether or not we want to go into this because...
is it because you've calmed down now, so you don't want to do it?
The game that shall not be named.
Is that why you don't want to do it?
No. I'm offering the chance to not go down the rabbit hole if we don't want to go down the rabbit hole. I have no problem going down the rabbit hole. I live in the rabbit hole most of the time.
Maybe we should hold off a week.
Give it a week to I can't give it a week. I can't.
Oh, so you wanted me to say let's do it. You didn't want me to back down.
No. Let's go ahead and get into
You're
this
like,
because I don't understand it. I'm trying, and if this reaches people that have these opinions, please come have a conversation with me, because I really don't understand what's going on here.
Here, let me can I start with something?
Go ahead.
Here's what really hit me. I get a phone call tonight from my brother, who doesn't stay on top of a lot of pop culture things. And he calls me to let me know, or asking if we've done a podcast about Hogwarts Legacy, because one, he wants to know if it's good, and two, he's heard that he might be considered a horrible person if he buys and plays it. But he loves Harry Potter. And that just made me think to myself,
well, you summed it up.
This is how sad it's gotten. So you can not care about who created Harry Potter. You cannot care about any of that stuff, but you like Harry Potter. You want to play in the world. This is a chance for you to experience the world in a video game form, because that's the hobby you love. And you've got people wondering if they're going to be like looked at as a horrible human being because they want to enjoy a video game. And we're not talking about some X-rated adult fantasy video game. We're talking about your basic video game.
So I even have people that I know for a fact this year. So after all of this, have gone to Universal Studios and visited Harry Potter World and have mentioned they cannot believe that I'm playing this game. You visited the fucking world and you're hating me for playing a video game.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand. So
I mean,
I'm lost here.
Even Travis Northup reviewed the game for IGN. He typically does live service game reviews. He's a big Destiny guy. He does a lot of the Destiny review stuff for IGN. The sole reason that he ended up reviewing Hogwarts Legacy is because most of the other reviewers in the company were afraid to do it because of the backlash they would receive for reviewing it. And the problem is, I think, is that everyone that had previewed the game and was playing it at IGN, just like a lot of other game places, realized that Avalanche Studios and WB Games fucking nailed it. They nailed an RPG when the world wants another RPG. They did it with a popular franchise. There's no creativity control from J.K. Rowling whatsoever. But now you've got this witch hunt of people that want to get out there and ruin people's careers that are streaming the game. They're trying to reach out to their sponsors and trying to get them canceled. They made a fucking website just to hunt down these people that are streaming the game to see if someone
streamed that wizard game.
Yeah, and not only that, now that website's been shut down, it says if you go to it that the owner has shut it down. And what you could do is you could put in your Twitch thing, and then it would tell you if anyone you follow has played the game, so you could remove them if you wanted. Like, it just got to the point that it's so ridiculous that when review sites are afraid to review a game just based on, not only that, IGN even had to put out a long warning basically saying that, hey, we're just reviewing the game on the game's merits and whether it's fun or not. And then what's funny is, because of the people trying to convince people not to buy it and they want it shut down and banned, it rose in popularity to the point that it's the #1 selling game, pre-order. Then it became the top game on Twitch for RPG single player game. It's the #1 of all time for viewer count, up to 1.2 million viewers. So this whole boycott thing backfired to the point that they what they were trying to accomplish, all they did was push more people to play and buy it.
I don't even think they pushed people to play and buy it. I think they were going to play and buy it anyway. I think secretly over half of the people that say they're behind this are playing the game themselves. Yeah, like a bunch of people that are there, they're like, oh, we're never gonna do that. And I hate this. And here's comments like this. So Brianna Wu, co-founder of the development studio Giant Space Cat, I don't know what Giant Space Cat has done lately.
But was kind of a big deal in
But yeah, she's a big deal in the gaming community. Like, I know the name, but again, I don't know of Giant Space Cat nailing any amazing games that are out there right now. But doesn't matter. You don't have to nail every game. You're going to miss some. You could have great indie games. I don't really care. But when you come out and this is your statement, it's really important for decent people to boycott Hogwarts Legacy. I have a lot of friends in games media, but I will be cutting ties with anyone who promotes this. So I'm not a decent person anymore. I find myself to be a very decent, understanding, fun-loving guy that's out there to just have fun with everyone. But I'm not a decent person because I want to play as a wizard in a game from my favorite childhood book series that I guarantee Brianna Wu read and loved and watched all the movies and did everything everyone else did before one person makes a singular comment that has nothing to do with the creative medium that they put out there. And now all of a sudden everyone else wants to attack these people and they want to, we're going to destroy it. You want to know how good you did, guys? You want to know how good you did? We only had 1.2 million people watching streamers play which broke the record
and that's what's
of single player games.
And if you think about this, how many people were watching people play on YouTube? How many people were watching people play on Facebook Gaming? This is just Twitch. Viewing. How many people? How many people are watching the playthrough? JGod just played through the whole thing and recorded the whole thing, and he'll put the whole thing on YouTube. How many people are going to watch his entire playthrough?
But here's the thing: all of those people that are going to go watch it are going to say, "Oh no, I didn't watch it. I've never played it. I don't know what's going on. I don't watch any of the movies. I just own all of the books." It's like you're full of shit. You're full of shit.
I mean, here's my stand. If you are so upset by the comments that were made by J.K. Rowling, and you decide that you don't want to be a part of this anymore, and it has ruined something that you may have loved before you even knew that J.K. Rowling was the creator of everything, I respect your decision for not doing it. I respect your decision for maybe even voicing your opinion that you think people should ban and boycott. But the witch hunts that are going on to basically condemn people and make them feel like horrible human beings because they like something, especially some of the people that might not even have known. How many people are watching that probably don't even know how the controversy behind it until maybe the streamer that they're watching mentioned it, because they don't have a Twitter and they don't follow the media and they don't care because maybe Harry Potter's their minimal escape. You know, if tomorrow George Lucas came out and said some of the most absurd things I've ever heard in my life, am I going to stop being a Star Wars fan? But I love Star Wars. That was my favorite thing.
Because you're exactly what she says that we're not, reasonable human beings. Ones that can separate someone's opinions on things from there. And it's funny because they go into all of they just try to find everything in this game, like anti-Semitism, like all kinds of stuff, transphobic, blah, 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 blah. You go down all these things. Do they realize there's actually video games out there about Nazis? The whole part of the game is about Nazis. You can play as the Nazis, people. They've made games like that before, but none of them are out there boycotting those. None of them are out there doing those things because they don't know that exist. They weren't popular. Want to know why they weren't popular? Because they were terrible games with horrible messages and normal people didn't play them.
I mean,
I didn't go buy them.
Let's be honest. Until about the last month and a half when people started getting their hands on the game, even you and me included, we were like, they're making a Harry Potter game, but I don't know. I don't know if it looks good. I don't know if they're going to get it right. Like, it's an RPG. Like, how good can it be? They
fucking nailed it.
They nailed it. But how many tie-in / based off movie stuff do video games come out constantly, and they're not good? It happens all the time.
Think of every superhero video game ever.
I mean, Marvel Avengers was the new competitor to a Destiny, and it flopped. Because it was a bad game. If this was a bad game, people would not be playing it. Unfortunately, for the people that want to hate it, it's a good video game. And what's frustrating to me
is beyond good. It's got game.
She had no creative control, and some of the people that want to boycott this that aren't even in the gaming industry, it's like they have blinders on. They don't understand. Thousands of people were involved in making this game. So Susan Smith, that was an art director working on the Castle of Hogwarts, might be a trans person for all I know, but they worked on the game, and when I buy the game, that's how they're getting paid. It helps those people too. I just don't understand.
No, and the whole thing is they went back and they put in, like, you can be a transgender. There's a transgender character in the game. You could make a transgender character. You can build it. They've done all these things. They're like, okay, you're not wrong. Like, that's the funny thing is they're like, you don't have this capability for me to play the way I want to play the game. And they're like, you know what? You're right. Let me go do that for you.
And they did.
Let me go make sure that's in there because you're correct. You're correct. This is a role-playing game. And some of our audience is going to want to play the role-playing game that way because that's how they identify with the game. You know what? You should be allowed to be that type of wizard or witch if you want to. So I'm going to let you play that way. They did it for you. They listened to you and they agreed with what you were saying.
Now that's being criticized.
Yeah, because you didn't do it in the first place. It wasn't there at the top of your mind. It's like, guys, you know, my wife and I have these conversations all the time. And a lot of it is we are all who we are. I am a middle-aged white male. So you know what I think like? A middle-aged white male. I don't have any other way of understanding how you feel about things unless you tell me. We had this conversation once about, like, when you walk through a parking lot at work, how do you feel? Being a middle-aged white guy, never really thought about it. Being a white woman who walks through is like, hey, is there enough lighting in this parking lot if I have to walk through here at night? Is there enough things? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I never thought about that. Now, you know what? Every time I walk through a parking lot, I think about that because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't think of those things. I had no idea how terrible it was for a breastfeeding mother at work. Because guess what? Not something I ever pay attention to. When my wife had to go through it, you know, one of the things I was like, I had to go and be like, hey, does our office building have enough places? Like, are there places on each floor? Do we have these things? Like, I can support that now because I understand it because someone told me. They let me know. They didn't assume that I was going to have hatred because I'm a middle-aged white guy that's out there and I'm just going to hate everything that doesn't belong to me. No, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not ignorant. I just don't understand. And when you tell me, I'm like, you know what? We shouldn't make you uncomfortable here. That shouldn't be the way it is. I had no idea. Thank you for enlightening me. Thank you for talking to me like a human being. Thank you for taking a minute to assume that I may not know everything in the world that you're feeling and you might have to tell me. Thank you. One of my really close friends is a transgender person. Started out as friends with them as Samantha. I am currently still friends with them as Sam. Nothing changed. They're still the great person they are.
Yeah.
That didn't change. The history didn't change. The back of when he was Samantha at that time, it didn't change. You're still the same person. I still like you. Nothing changed. But all of a sudden, someone makes a singular comment and everything about me that we've gone through, the history we have, is thrown out the door. You're not a good person anymore because of this one singular thing that you like. I want to be a wizard. Sue me. I want to be able to go Levioso and have something float in the air and come to me. I want to fight like a wizard. I want to fly on a broom. I want to play Quidditch, which I'm really mad is not in the game. Okay.
DLC coming to you in 6 months.
Exactly. It's going to be its own game. But anyway, I'm sorry that there's this backlash. I am sorry for the people that feel offended and actually feel like there's a problem here from what J.K. Rowling said. And if you want to cancel her, by all means, delete her Twitter. Don't buy her stuff. Don't buy any of the games. You have that power. But the people that do still watch the movies, that still do read the books, that still want to play this game that had absolutely nothing to do with her,
or pass the movies on to their kids now or something like that. Or
pass the story along to their kids. It doesn't change the magicalness of the story and the creator that was there. There are some bad people that have created amazing things. You can respect the art for the art and not respect the person. That is fine. No one is saying that that isn't true. And no one is saying you don't have the right to not play it if you don't want to. But you don't have the right to go out there and say everybody else is the scum of the earth if they do. I'm tired of that mentality. I am tired of all of a sudden one thing taking away everything else someone has ever done in their life. And do I agree with any of the comments that J.K. Rowling made? No.
Yeah,
I think they're stupid.
I think
they're ridiculous.
I think
she,
based on her beliefs,
her bounds.
Yeah, I think she was using her platform. I don't think she's a good person.
No, but
I'm not going to let that take away the memories that I had going to see these movies with friends in movie theater. Like, I didn't go watch this to support J.K. Rowling. I went because my friends like to go, and they introduced me to the Harry Potter world, and we had a good time. All my memories are with the people that I saw these movies with. I never even read the books. I just invested in the movies. So I have all these great memories from that.
So outside of this, because I'm sure we're going to come back to this. It's not going away anytime soon. I'm sure we're going to be back to this. The game is phenomenal. I've been playing it. I am not as far into the game as I want to be into the game. Just for life reasons, I have not been able to play as much. But man, is it good. It sucks you in. The dialogue's great. The story's great. Just the way that the combat flows. And I think I spent the first hour just running around the castle.
Yeah,
literally just being like, oh my God, I'm in the Hogwarts castle. Like I'm all these iconic locations and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, how do I get into the Chamber of Secrets? Let me try to figure this out. How do I get there? Like, is it the same? Do I have to find the same stuff? This is in the past. Is the chamber there yet? It may not be there. When did they put it makes me, it brings all of that stuff back and it's amazing. And I really want to get immersed into this world and just see where it is. I can't believe people have beaten the game already. Like, holy moly, talk about putting some hours in. And the game has an infinite direction to go in. So I really hope this boycott and all this stuff doesn't stop the studio from continuing to develop on the game, continuing to push this out. And if you are a streamer that has a following and you like this game, stream it. Stream it, guys. The game is there. The game is good. The people that made the game are good people. This has nothing to do with J.K. Rowling. This has nothing to do with their studio. It has to do with a wonderful wizarding world that we want to play in. And let us have our fun and go out there. And you know what? If you don't want to play it, then walk away. Stop paying attention to it. It's the Howard Stern effect, man. And I always know I go back to that, but it's true.
Yeah, it is very
Howard
true.
Stern, half the people watch Howard Stern because they loved him. The other half people watch Howard Stern because they hated him.
And they wanted to find something to hate him.
Because they wanted to know what he was going to say next. Both sides wanted to know the same thing. And you know what? He created a huge career off of the fact that people hated him. So if you're gonna not want to do something, just vote with your dollar.
Yeah. And the thing that I don't like is if you are one of those people that is just jumping into people's streams to be toxic in their chat, one, they're gonna ban you if they're smart. They should just ban you immediately. But you are, in my opinion, being the opposite of the thing that you hate. You're doing the same thing just from the other side. Now you're being toxic. You're being toxic to someone just who wants to try to enjoy the game.
There's no righteous justice.
Like, what are you, like, why even waste your time going there if you don't want to be a part of it? Because when you go to that person, you are adding to the viewer count. It's the other thing I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, they just got the view. I mean, we have seen many, many, many streamers make it off of the world of toxicity. So, you're going to have more that are here. And then this whole thing of, and I don't even want to say it, but man, could a headline get, I'm not going to say who's the headline's from. I'm not going to say any of that kind of stuff, but man, the clickbaitiness of the genocide simulator headline that the Harry Potter has been branded as a genocide simulator.
And then it doesn't go on to discuss their headline at all.
No, it has no way to back it up in any of the content of the game or anything of why this is a genocide simulator. And the funny part about this whole thing, this game hasn't even released officially yet.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We don't even have all
February
of the
10th.
players that are going to be playing it because some people didn't get the exclusive content. So that 1.2 million people might go up in viewership when all the other streamers actually get the game that didn't pre-order anything. Anyway, I'm tired of the toxicity of the world, man, right now. It's getting blown out of proportion with just about everything. There's no fun. There's no enjoyment
You're not
anymore.
allowed to
Like,
have fun.
but the only medium that's left, and I know it's getting attacked, that has any ability to like not try to tread the line of social, I don't even know what you call it anymore. Social norms. I have no idea what you want to call it without getting in trouble. Is comedy.
And
Like-
even
like
those guys
comedy
is
is the
still
only-
get attacked.
Well, they get attacked, but there's nothing you can do about it. Like at the end of the day, that is their medium. Like that is what they do. And you can attack them all you want, but they're still going strong. It's the only place. There's no fun. Go back, like literally go back and look at the history of your favorite shows 10 years ago. And put it through the light and the scope of today and tell me if they would ever be on the air.
Oh my god, it's some of them are bad.
Would The Office ever have made the air right
I
now?
don't know. Probably not. I don't know if
Oh my god, it wouldn't have. It would, and people are probably
it'd have
out
to be
there
on
that
HBO.
enjoy. Look. I want
It'd be a
everyone out there.
Showtime show.
Whoever's listening, it's probably not many, but if you're listening because you hate what we're talking about here, and you hate everything about us and all of these things, and that we're playing it and we're bad people and we're all of these things, go back 10 years and look at the show you were watching on television or your favorite movie and put it through the same damn glasses you're putting this stuff through and tell me you aren't right there with everybody else. It's just a shift in the way the world is going. We learn, we adapt, we get better, we grow. Allow for growth, but
No, there's no such thing as growth anymore.
Don't just
You're not
label
allowed
something.
to grow. If you were one way at one point in your life and you were in the social media world at all, that is how you were labeled for the rest of your life.
I'm glad I don't understand how to use the Twitters.
I mean, I
And how to
love
make the
the people
tweets.
that like have to, they were 15 and they made a comment, they're 15 and now they're 70 and they're like people are bringing up, well, when you were 15, this is what you believe, so you must
Look
believe
at
that
the
now.
world
They
when
were
they were
still
15.
being educated. I mean, I don't know what you like. So you're basically, you want people to change, but you're also calling out people and saying that it's impossible for them to change. So make up your mind. Can people change?
So
Or if they were one way, they can never change.
I can't say this because I really don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to leave it there. But there's a funny.
I'm going to tweet it right after because you're going to tell me when we end this podcast. Ender said, by the way.
Thank you for listening, because I'm going to end up saying it to the Two Dudes That Game podcast. Sorry if we offended anybody. We're really not here to do that, but at the end of the day, we don't really care either, because we didn't say anything that was offensive. So we're not going to say we're sorry for that.
I'm sorry.
I'm Ender. That's James over there. I'm not. Have a good day.